Hey, it's Laughing Jester here. Today, we are going to make a skeleton horde. I've already started on it. I haven't finished yet, but I figured it would make some good content. So, um, this is just a piece of foam I cut out. I think it's about 3 inches by, maybe 4 inches. Um, I got a bunch of these little plastic skeletons from Dollar General. I've actually I didn't like the poses, so I've been cutting off the bases, and then I've taken a heat gun, turned it on, and pointed to the pieces I wanted to bend to kind of give them a different pose. As you can see, they're let's see if I can find one. So, like, you got this guy right here. See how he's holding his shield up and his axe in his hand? Well, he started off like this. I bent the shield so it's in front of him. I kind of bent his leg, up so it looks like he's running forward. So yeah, we're gonna put, I don't know, maybe 12 on this thing, but I think it's pretty cool. It's a cheap build and it'll be real easy to make. So what you're gonna need for this is a pair of nippers. Yeah, these are cheap. I think I got them at Hobby Lobby in the model section. You might need some tweezers to kind of pull the tendrils of hot glue off. You need a heat gun, or I'm sure a hair dryer would work on a high setting, but this I think I got this off a Temu maybe, or Wish or something. I don't know. It was really cheap. And then a hot glue gun. I got a dual temp Sure Bonder, but any hot glue gun will work. And then obviously we get our plastic skeletons. Like this guy, I don't know what he's doing. He's got his hand on his hip, so I don't think I'll use him. But let's grab this guy with the sword. So this plastic's real easy to snap. So just snap this. Try not to cut his foot unless that's what you want. And if you do, it's all right. You can cut his foot off and just imagine that he lost a limb somewhere. We'll do that. These are pretty easy to cut around. And then what I like to do, you see how it's got the base is still on it. I like to kind of cut those off so now it looks like his foot's normal. Looks like his foot's normal. So do that to the other one. See? I messed up. I cut his whole foot off. That's alright, though. So, we'll make sure everything's moved back because this little heat gun's pretty powerful. I mean, you could bend these, but it's just kind of easier to heat it up and bend them. He's got a little knob on his head. Okay, so I think what I want, this. I think I want this guy crawling somehow. So I want to kind of bend this knee kind of in front of him. So we'll heat it up. You can kind of tell when it's heated up enough because it'll start to get kind of shiny. Like it's almost melting it, which it probably is, but want to make sure you don't stick your hand in front of this. For any kids watching, make sure your parents help you with this part. But you can kind of bend his leg and hold it in position. And it'll kind of harden back up. And then I want to bring this knee. I want to bring this knee back in a little bit. And it really don't take much to bend this into shape. So, I got him up on his knees already. And I'll leave the shield like that, so it kind of gives me 3 access points to glue him on. But his head's kind of facing down. So, heat the back of his neck here. Ooh, that's hot. Heat the back of his neck here. And then we'll kind of raise it up so it's almost like he's looking forward. And now, right down here on him. As you can see, it looks like he's crawling now. So, we can have him like this, crawling. I'll have him kind of crawling right there. Okay, so, had some creative differences going on in my mind. So, I was going to put 12 on a square base, but I don't really like square bases. I like interesting bases. I like circular bases, but decided to put 5 of these guys. I accidentally broke that one guy's arm off. Broke that guy's foot off, but all you do is hot glue him down, which this one didn't stay very well. So we'll put some more glue on him. Hold it down there a little bit. Alright. Now, we got, 5 skeletons, and I can make tons of these. Tons of them. But, 5 skeletons, they started out with these, goofy poses. You can make them you can make them look quite interesting. So that's what I did. Especially like that guy crawling. I seen that one in there, and I'm like, oh, he looks like he can crawl. All right, for this next part,
Pretty happy with
we
it.
got 3 ingredients. Mod Podge. Love it. Can't really do this without it, but this is the mat. Some sand out of old sandbox in my backyard. I sifted it out, so it should have got most of the vegetation out of it. And some earth brown paint. Acrylic paint. I need this. So, what we're going to do, I'm going to take some of this Mod Podge, and as you can tell, this is a brand new thing. I just used my first one after a few years. We're gonna pour some in here without making a mess. Don't have to use too much, but wipe that off. And then I'm going to take some of this sand. I'm just going to pour some in there. And then the earth brown Anita's paint. Like I said in my previous video, this has been discontinued, but I love this stuff. And popsicle stick here. Stir it around. I want it to be darker than that, so we're gonna squeeze quite a bit more in there. A little bit more sand to thicken it up a little bit. It's taking a lot more sand than what I thought it would. But there we go. Starting to get like a crusty paste. A little bit more dark brown in there. Mix that up. I kind of want this to simulate looking like mud. So I think that looks pretty good. Now I'm just going to take it and kind of go in between it. I don't really care if we get it on their feet, if it's mud. You notice I laid down some parchment paper. Keep from getting it all over my cutting mat. And like I said, it doesn't matter. Which, in hindsight, I'm going to be painting this anyways, repainting it. So I guess the brown was kind of a waste. Whoops. You figure stuff out as you go, though. Just trying to get it kind of caked in there. That guy just covered his back leg, which is alright. It's gonna look like they're kind of crawling out of the ground or just came out of the ground. probably better ways to do this. I mean, I could use a paintbrush, but I didn't really want to get my paintbrush clogged up with all sand and everything. So, got that. Smooth that out around the edges. Going to put some all around. Except for the bottom. We're going to try to keep it off the bottom. One little spot in there. Haven't gotten yet. There we go. And there we have our motley crew of muddy skeletons. And I could have made a whole bunch of these. But I didn't, so. Alright. Now I'm gonna take some flat black primer, Rust-Oleum. I'm gonna take these outside and I'm gonna primer them so the paint sticks to them better since they're plastic. That way we can paint them. I usually let these set for 24 hours before I start to paint them, just so the primer cures on them. But as you can see, the Mod Podge set up with mud. Hindsight, I shouldn't even mix the brown paint in them if I was going to primer them, but it's alright. Next time I'll just use Mod Podge and in sand. Kind of peel some of this off the bottom, kind of make it smooth. And I probably ain't even going to worry. Usually I put chipboard on the bottom of these to give it a little bit more stability, I guess. But I don't think I'll need it. Usually on the bigger bases that I custom make, I'll put chipboard on the bottom. I do got some foam showing through there, but in reality, I don't really care if it does melt, which it shouldn't, because I don't hold it like this. I hold it far away, do sweeping sprays across it, and usually that works pretty good. As you can see, I use Rust-Oleum on my 3D printed minis, and it doesn't clog up the details like everyone says it does. It actually, as long as you know what you're doing, it's fine. Now, if you're spraying like this close, yeah, it's gonna clog up. It's gonna get all gathered in one spot, and if you don't use this sweeping motion. So I've never had a problem, and I've painted probably about 100 minis so far that I've printed. So catch you guys when this is cured after I prime it. They're not dry yet, but as you can see, I'm all nice and primed up black. And then we'll let these set overnight, and probably tomorrow night we can begin painting them. Now, if I wanted, I could leave it like this, but the speed paints, I got some pallid bone. That's probably the most expensive thing I'll use on this, the speed paints. make sure I get full coverage on the... I could probably leave it like this, but I want to put some speed paints on it. Alright, we got some Army Painter Speed Paint 2.0 Pallid Bone. Shake that up real good. Squeeze some out. Alright. And now we're just going to put this on over these skeleton guys. Getting them all covered. It really doesn't matter how thick you put this on, because it looks good when you're done, and they're fast. So I chose to do them. As you can tell, the difference. Alright, I will be back. And when I come back, these will all be painted. Alright, I got them all done. A little piece. Got them all speed painted up. Just the skeleton part. I ain't even gonna thin this. I'm just gonna paint it on there. And when I get the base painted, I'll come back and we'll see how it looks. There, I got the ground done. Well, I got it based out again, so you don't have to shoot for full coverage on this. It's going to be dry brushed, and we're going to cover it with a little bit of flock anyways. So pretty happy with how it's turned out so far. So now I'm going to start painting the armor and the horn and everything, or the shields. For the shields, we're going to use Talus bronze. wipe out this pallet bone out of my pallet. Alright, I'll be back when those are painted. Alright, for the weapons themselves, I'm using a Speed Paint 2.0 Broadsword Silver. We're going to paint the metal bits on it. I did get the shields painted. Shields are copper. Figured they'd look cool like that. So with that, I will be back once I get this painted. And now the last color on the skeletons I'm going to use Satchel Brown. And I'm actually going to use it as 2 different shades. I got some thinner. I'm going to thin it down. And I'm going to thin it down for the horn. I'm going to leave it as it is for the wood on the axis. So, I'll be right back. Alright. So, the bulk of the painting's done. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my dry brush and go in with a lighter brown on the base. We're gonna adorn this with some flocking and probably some grass tufts. So we'll do that next. I'll finish painting this. Alright, last step. Got some homemade black wash. It's water, black paint, and a little bit of Flow Aid, dishwasher Flow Aid. Jeremy over at Black Magic Crafts, his recipe. Put some in there. And then we're just gonna stick this over the base. To get down in those nooks and crannies. To kind of dirty up the ground a little bit. Go into the recesses. And don't worry if it kind of drowns out your paint. We can always go back in with a lighter dry brush. I'm trying to be careful not to get on the skelly boys here, but if I do, I do. No big deal. If you would, I'd appreciate a like, follow, or subscribe, and to share my content. That way I can get my name out there. I appreciate it. You can also go to my Facebook. Give me a follow there. And I am also on TikTok. On TikTok, I post my finished painting projects, miniatures. I ain't really gonna paint any miniatures on here besides the ones I create at home, like my scratch build ones, because that ain't what my channel is gonna be about. But and then on TikTok, I am developing a homebrew campaign, and I'm still in the works of it, but there is a story
on Facebook, or I should say on TikTok, that kind of is an introduction to the world of Eldoria, which these little skeleton guys will be a part of. So I'm starting to like them a lot the more and more I go on. Okay. And then we will let all those dry. Let the wash dry in there. And then we'll go in with some flocking, and we'll flock a few areas and put some grass tufts on it once it dries. Alright, my favorite part of the whole build, the flocking part, the basing. I love this part. It's so satisfying. So in here I got some PVA glue, White Elmer's glue all, and we are just going to apply it liberally all over the base, or where we want the grass to stick, I should say. I don't want it to stick everywhere, but kind of be random with it. You know, just kind of stick a glob there, and stick a little section here, and then just kind of go in here and stick some. Go back here and stick some. I like to spread it on pretty thick, but I kind of want it to look like they're still crawling out of the ground. See, I just kind of got it in certain spots. And now, move this out of the way. And now, I got my flocking bin that I always use. And I'm just going to pop it on there. Pop it on there. Just kind of tap it off. And now set that to the side. I got some isopropyl alcohol here. It's in a needle applicator. And we're just going to drop that on the flocking, and it will create a rock hard base, so the flocking does not rub off. Try to keep it off the bones because it could reactivate my speed paints and they could run, which we'd just have to go back in and redo them. But as you can see, that all in there. Got the little basing. Alright, and now we got some little grass tufts. Actually, We will do some variation. That way they all don't look the same. And with these, I mean, they're sticky, but I still like to put some glue on them. We're gonna stick these in little spots around. Just stick those around in little spots. Press them down a little bit. Stick. And then I got these bigger tufts in here. And add a little bit more variation on it. So, stick that there. That glue will dry clear. And then let's stick a little tuft right in the side here. Right there in front of his foot. And now we let that dry. And then it will be finished. Really cool build, I think. Easy, cheap. It all came from this. As you can see, this guy and this guy are the same guy, but if you notice, his shield's in front of him. He's got his axe up. He just looks more dynamic like that. And then, you know, you got this guy crawling in the back like he's crawling out of a grave. And that is one of these guys over here, if I can find him. Yeah, this guy. So it's this guy, but he's crawling out of the grave. So, or whatever. But yeah, pretty happy with that, and we will let them dry.
Real easy build, real cheap build. I think the most expensive thing I used on this was probably the paint. I did decide to go in off camera and do a dry brush of Bone White from Vallejo, and then I did put a black wash on the shield and the weapons, and then I did a dry brush on the horn. So scale here, as you can see, they are much larger than Sir Roderick. but I could still use them. I did post it on my Facebook, the Laughing Jester, or Laughing Jester Crafts. And then I also got a group of crafters that's the Laughing Jesters Court of Crafters on Facebook. And I also have TikTok, which all the links will be in the description. My TikTok handle will be there too. I'd love for you to check me out. I've been posting a lot to TikTok, and I'm starting to gain a little bit of a following, but I need more. So if you'd like, subscribe, and share my page, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.